Welcome to Kids Academy.
Hello and welcome to this video. There are basically two ways to win a chess game. Number one, you develop your pieces, you aim them at your opponent's king, and you develop a checkmating attack. The second way to win a chess game, and this happens very frequently, is that you get a material advantage. Maybe you notice there's a free pawn or a free bishop. You capture that piece, you play a tactic, you up material, and now you need to know how to convert that. That's what we're going to be focusing on today, and we call that trading down. And all that trading down really means is that you make a bunch of fair trades so that your material advantage becomes more and more important, more influential on the outcome of the game. So imagine if you're winning by a pawn and you do fair trades, you cancel out the queens, you trade off the rooks, get rid of the bishops, knights, and all the remaining pawns, you'll be left with a pawn and a king against the king. Now sometimes that's a draw, but often one pawn is enough to win. So we're going to look at some positions, and I want you to be thinking about who has the material advantage, and for that player, how could he or she do fair trades to make their extra pieces even more influential, more important in the outcome of the game. Okay, so here is our first here is our first position, and I want you to think about who has more material, who has more points. So instead of counting all the pieces that have been captured, I usually just look at the pieces that are left, especially when there are fewer pieces on the board. And I notice that these rooks cancel out, so that's even. I notice white has 6 pawns, and black has 6 pawns, so that's even. And then I look around, I see white has a knight and a bishop, black does not. I know a knight is 3 and a bishop is 3, so white is ahead 6 points, or $6. Now, if I'm the white player, I would love to trade down. I would love to get rid of those rooks and have my knight and bishop be even stronger. They will be the only powerful pieces left in the game. Can you find a way for white to force the rooks to come off the chessboard? Well, if you saw the move rook to d8 check, you're absolutely correct. Black is in check, and black, let's see, thinking about CPR, he can't run away. There are pawns blocking him. He can't protect. The only move black can play to save the king is capture. And once again, we'll play this rook to d8 check, and black's only move is to capture. After we capture that second black rook, we have successfully traded down. The rooks are gone, and white is left with a knight and a bishop. This game is far from over. White still has a lot of moves to make, but the idea is to turn one of these queenside pawns into a queen to promote it. And we could do that with moves like knight a4, knight c5, and begin to attack black's pawns on the queen side and then push this pawn across. But with the knight and the bishop, these pawns are way overmatched. In this position, who is winning? Well, going back to our previous procedure, the queens cancel out. White has 2 pawns, black doesn't have any, so white is up 2 points. If we could do a fair trade and trade down and get rid of these queens, this would be an easy win for white. There is no way this black king can stop this pawn and this pawn from promoting. They're just too far away from one another, and the black king is too slow. Can you find a move that will force the queens to come off the board? Well, you might have said the move queen e3, offering a queen trade, and your idea will be the black queen takes the white queen, the king takes the queen, it's a fair trade, and the pawns can start marching. However, is black obligated to take the queen? Does black have to take the queen? No, in fact, black can just start checking your king and run away and keep the queens on the board and really make life difficult for this white king. This king doesn't have much shelter, and the black queen can swoop around the board, checking the king repeatedly. So instead of queen e3, the strongest move here for white is actually queen g3. The difference being, we're offering a queen trade, we're also attacking the king. We call this a double attack or a fork, and black's only move to not lose material is to capture the queen. If the king runs, we'll capture this queen for free. So black's best move is to capture us, we capture back, and now there's no way for black to stop these pawns. If he starts running over here, then we can just march this one across. And you've already seen the video on the queen and king checkmate, so we know this is an easy win for white. Let's look at one more example. Okay, in this game, it's white's turn. How much material is white winning by? Well, not a whole lot. The rooks cancel out. The knight and bishop cancel out. I see 3 pawns here, 3 pawns here. But white has 2 on the queen side, black only has 1. So white is left with a 1 pawn advantage. Going back to what I said earlier, sometimes 1 pawn is enough. How can white force a trade of pieces and begin to use that extra pawn and build upon that advantage? Chess masters would play rook d6 in this position. The idea is that it's attacking the black rook and the black bishop. If the rook moves, we'll capture the bishop for free. If the bishop moves, we'll trade the rooks. So black's best move is just to take. We will take back. And now we've simplified things somewhat. The rooks are gone. White is up a pawn, and we will begin to target this pawn on a5. Ideally, this king will come around in pressure. This knight will come here in pressure, and pretty soon we'll have 2 attackers on this pawn. Only the bishop will be defending, and after white wins that pawn, we'll be up 2 pawns, and we'll start marching these pawns across the board to get a queen. And we were able to do this because we traded those rooks off. Rooks are very strong at defending in an endgame, and by eliminating the black rook, and also our rook, we simplified things and made it so that trading down made our lives a little bit easier. It allows us to use this pawn and maybe even capture this pawn so we can begin thinking about promoting. So there are really 2 ways to win a chess game. You go and checkmate the king, but usually what happens in a chess game, especially a high-level chess game, is that one player will get a material advantage. He or she will win some points, and then they will start thinking about how to make fair trades, to trade down, to simplify the position, and use the extra material to convert a pawn and promote it to a queen. Okay, thank you for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.